Hi everyone, my name is Danika. I'm the CEO of Normative. Normative is a female-focused health research platform that's disrupting sex and gender data gaps and more equitable outcomes across sex and gender through validated data collection and analytical practices. I'm just going to be limited to my stuff. All right, so I'm sure that I'm speaking to the part here, but oh my goodness, we know that the advice of sex. Decade in particular, we've seen organizations such as the CIHR in Canada putting money into investment in policy into facilitating the adoption of more equitable practices, leading to a $900 million budget annually for sex integrated studies. And if you can demonstrate actual meaningful expertise in that sex and gender variability, you are 2.5 more times to get your study funded, which is very exciting. And here's why. Here's the big default that we'll run into as the problem is on number. The average sample size for a study that actually counts for hormonal variability between identifying person is 14. And the average cost of that is $50,000. Obviously, that's untenable and can't move forward. That is not enough to move the diagnostic pathway forward. It's not enough to move the policy pathway forward. It's not enough to move the treatment pathway forward. And so, as a very frustrated and intersectionally enraged feminist, we created my Normative. Normative is a data collection data analytics solution. We can plug in either other data collection source, or you can plug in whatever you have in your own algorithms that provide and help you meet those standards of integration. And we really made sure in our process to really focus and center that health literacy and knowledge translation so that in your research, as you're going through your processes, these things are meaningfully built into your solution. And the reason why we did this and the reason we went platform is we knew that researchers are already, you're all smart, so you're already learning technologies to try and get there, but what we saw was a quilting effect. People were pulling in different types of hardware, different types of software, different types of assays, different types of wet lab interventions or ultrasound interventions to try and pull together the means to actually do research that is inclusive and representative. And as a result, they pull these huge logistical burdens and barriers. And that's kind of where my Normative is looking to step in and make it easier to scale and decentralize your recruitment and efforts to be inclusive of female persons. Where we're starting today is we're really looking at working with Canadian American researchers who want to include humanitarian populations. We know that historically this has been a really big burden for people. We are able to also, and I can talk to you about it afterwards, include people who are a little bit outside of that, like super peak, very critical 1835. We can get into some projects with people needing some project preparing menopause. But this is kind of, historically, we've seen big barriers around integration, and that's where our focus is right now. I don't think this is important. This isn't a pitch, so I'm going to lose all of the marks on that one. That's okay. But I wanted to be really transparent here as well. So our model is really, really straightforward and really clear. You stand up a project, you can buy one off the shelf. It's super easy. It's a one-time cost for like, hey, make sure you have all the parameters in place to run an ethical study. That's important. And then we go through and make sure that we have the data hosting, data management, data extraction costs built in. That's it. And if you want everything kind of tightened up for your own particular study, it's a specific population you want to address, say indigenous peoples, you then do the customization on top of that. Our strategy is really around overcoming what we've seen as a barrier historically, which is either the data is there, but it's poor quality, it's not validated. The data collection is there, it's technology that's meant to collect data information or historical information, but it's not validated information that's being collected, or it's validated methodologies for data collection, but it's not scalable. I don't know if you've ever heard of Aneal, 2,000 people's worth of urinary analysis test kits before for 6 months. It's a huge undertaking. And so what we really wanted to do is make sure that we integrate ourselves into the community to become a reliable space because we can do that work and meaningfully integrate clinical trial. Yeah, everyone is on. All right, I've got 26 seconds on my call left. So what is my ask? What we're doing right now is working on these proposals to the provincial government, looking specifically at funding to make it easier for research organizations, research institutes to integrate minority into their practices, that it becomes a non-barrier in terms of data equity. So let's talk about that. We're looking for giving more information to a few more persons. That is my full ask here. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll talk to you afterwards.
Now we'll be able to take questions from the crowd. So any of you guys have a question, please raise your hand and Danika. Yeah, we have one right there in the middle of the room. Yeah.
Thanks for the presentation. It was great. I hear this phrase GBA plus. Is that kind of what this is addressing? And is there any kind of certification that you need to determine that it's GBA plus for some of the granting agencies and others that are looking for this?
Yeah, that's really interesting question. So for anyone that didn't listen to GBA pluses, it's a federal initiative that's the gender-based analysis plus. And really it looks at policies and decision-making processes in the pipeline to ensure that you are being thoughtfully considerate of differences in barriers and accessibility for cost transfers and vendors. Yes, as a part of that, you can absolutely go to the GA plus program. But in terms of like, is there a expertise markation that you did within your own organization? There's some small ones that I know of, but nothing that has like significant information government body attached to it. Great question.
Thank you very much. Do you have any more questions?
I'm just wondering, is there anything else you're looking for in terms of collaborative support or from the community to help you on your journey as you grow this initiative?
I think the big things that we're putting into right now are learning more about where specifically certain clinical researchers are experiencing barriers in terms of the ways in which they're trying to bring system equity into their studies. So I know that often we hear it behind closed doors like, oh, well, I'm an expert in this type of cancer, I'm not an expert in system equity. This is a huge load for me to like get this across the line in my applications. And we're really looking to kind of learn where organizations and researchers are struggling those barriers. And so that's something that you have with longer time experience and about to have a conversation with that.
Is there an open consultation on that, a way to engage directly, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can just me my email is Danika@MHCombiotic. You can also come in through any more kind of funnels online. You can just sign up for email and it comes straight out to me. In terms of the open consultation process, we're in the middle of putting that together right now. Some other advice report.
Hi, Danika. When you're integrating with clinical research that may involve both sexes and involve other platforms that are aiming to collect patient-reported outcomes, do you integrate with the other platform, or does Normative become the platform for both sexes?
We can do both. There's a very exciting. So we use a microservices architecture. So if you want to mainstream Normative, we do that for you. And then if you want to just plug us into the whatever you already use, I'll set that.
Thanks.
This is your time, but I'll have another question if there's no other questions. We've got 2 more minutes or so, I think. I'm wondering about the indigenous communities and their languages and how we can really engage them very fully in the process so we build trust from the beginning. How is that going?
It's going shockingly well. So I think one of the things that's really going to keep our success within our indigenous communities is our intersection of feminist approach. It's kind of how the organization operates. So principles of the campus more or less baked in at this point. The translation of declaration services go through the full HTTP process, and I'm reviewing knowledge piece, making sure you understand the differences between the cycle and menstrual cycle, conflating the two, making sure we understand different traditional working practices. The reason we even talk about different symptoms that we experience along the hormonal health and span, because there's so much culture tied up in being for outcomes and female health, and there's so much around those practices and those traditional knowledge that you just have to be aware.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. How are we doing on time? I think it's 8:41, so I think we could probably move on to the next pitch unless there's any questions. Is Max around? Yeah. Perfect. Thanks so much. Can you hear me at the back? Can you hear me a little bit? A little bit? Okay, so if you ask a question, feel free to introduce yourself. This is a friendly, big round table. You want to get to know each other, just get your names, and that way we get to connect the dots, okay? And while we're setting up, I want to thank Adept and ACAD, anyone from Adept or ACAD, both funded by Alberta Innovates. You can just stand up, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jefferson. I'm working on the Adapt program, which is the Alberta Diagnostics ecosystem platform for translation. So we support programs or innovators, companies working in the laboratory diagnostic space, and we're funded by Alberta Innovates.
Great, thanks. Okay, and maybe someone from NACAMS. Does anyone want to say anything about NACAMS, please?
From CAMS, Center for Advanced Medical Simulation. As part of the Optimization Platform Partnership, we are helping startups and SMEs to quality targeted testing, full range of product development as they're developing new medical devices, health technology that are
And anybody from, let's say, the University of Alberta? I think I saw David somewhere. Yeah, feel free to say hello while I get organized here. Sure.
Hi, everyone. I'm from the University of Alberta. Also representing.
Very nice. Looks like we have the presentation set up right now. I'd like to welcome Maximilian Kerz, co-founder and CEO of CriticareDx. Healthcare adjacent Thanks a lot.
Okay, just a sound check. Can you all hear from the mic here? There's one speaker is down. Can you hear? Everybody
Yeah,
okay?
it's working right.
Okay, I think we're good.
I'm gonna try and speak up a little bit. Okay, good, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for your morning. My name is Maximilian Kerz, and I'm one of the co-founders of CriticareDx. What we are is essentially Canada's medical network. We connect thousands of doctors with each other, employees, and industry all in one place. And before I tell you a little bit more about this, let me back up a little bit. Probably no surprise, but we're living in a healthcare crisis that is affecting every single one of us, especially staff within healthcare tends to be burnt out. Physicians in particular, in some cases, they're leaving the profession, which is causing a massive problem. The time to staff clinics are closing, the arts are closing, and in the end, patients suffer, right? Everyone on the wait times, comorbidities that are developing. So this can really not go on like this any longer, and I think we're all doing a lot to try and solve this. But one of the large problems that we've identified really is sort of the fragmentation within healthcare itself. It is really challenging to connect with medical professionals, actually medical professionals to medical professionals as well. It's really difficult to place physicians in the places that they need. And then innovation tends to lag behind quite a bit between where we truly are and what we're capable of to bring it into practice. And again, it's usually access to the market. How do you get in front of physicians? How do you educate them properly so that they can use the amazing technologies that are out there? And this is what CriticareDx does. It's a medical network, and we facilitate the ability of hiring doctors, identifying innovative companies, and bringing them in front of thousands of these physicians, and also allowing them to learn and continuously educate themselves. So, why a medical network? This is a summary of some of the medical networks that exist around the world, and I think this is really interesting. they actually have proven to be extremely effective at connecting physicians, but also industry and government with themselves, and have proven and stood the test of time. Some of these are decades old and serving thousands, if not tens of thousands of physicians worldwide. In Canada, we have Facebook. So that works really well if you want to share cat photos or talk to your colleagues. But if you want to solve healthcare and raise physicians effectively, God forbid, let's not talk about patient identical information. This is really not the way to go. So with Sharing Health, when you sign up, it's very much like LinkedIn for doctors. You get a profile, the organization gets a profile, and then you can start interacting. You can find jobs and local shifts. We essentially provide a centralized job tool across the platform. We've got thousands of jobs already on there. We developed a learning module so that companies such as yourself or new tools can be essentially established for continuous medical education and learning. And of course, physicians can connect with each other, with their colleagues, establish new connections so that they improve their referral schemes. It really is sort of that ability to free flow information within the healthcare system. And of course, healthcare professionals, they rely on professionals such as yourself. It's about building essentially a suite of tools that supports policymakers, clinic managers, and entrepreneurs for companies that provide life-saving solutions in this market. And so we built that suite, such as recruiter tools, where you can actively engage with physicians on the platform to place them in that advisory job or in that clinic that you might be hiring for. Develop employer branding and physician engagement strategies to essentially disseminate information that you might have about the project. And hosting events to really become a key opinion leader. So every time physicians think of a certain area, your name comes to mind. So it works. We've got over 4,500 physicians on the platforms already, 2,000 clinics, and hundreds of messages being sent back and forth every day. We have over 5,000 physicians on the jobs on the platform, and they're placing or being placed on a daily basis. Which is fantastic, and it's sort of our contribution to trying to keep things open. And this really sort of summarizes our vision. We really want to bring healthcare together into one place and empower medical professionals to do that. And so I'm really, really excited to be announcing that actually next month we will be expanding to all health professions, not just supporting physicians, but allied health as well. So that's pharmacists, nurses, dentists, anyone you can kind of think of to help facilitate that healthcare and allied healthcare distribution and referral support. When it comes to the ask, we know that you in this room are the change makers. What we've built really is that distribution network that helps you get in front of physicians, in front of the healthcare system, to talk about your projects, your initiatives, and services. So if you think of the use cases such as expanding clinical trial capacity, educating physicians about your projects, or trying to gather insights about what you're doing and wanting feedback from physicians and health practitioners. This part, we'd love to support your use cases and get you on the platform, and get you in front of all the doctors and health professionals. So thank you very much, and we're really looking forward to talking to you.
Great presentation, by the way. We'll be taking questions from the crowd now. But we have quite a few in that area of the group.
Hi, thanks for an excellent professional presentation. I'm from the National Health Service in the UK. And what I'd like to ask is essentially, how do you make sure that the accreditation of, say, a physician, say, in India or in other parts of the world meets the standards of, say, the NHS or the Canadian system here?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the way that the network itself works right now, we're only based in Canada, and we tend to go through the public registries of registered physicians here. So every physician that comes onto the platform needs to verify themselves, and we do that through their registration numbers and then essentially action about the registers. For international physicians, we essentially let them provide their verification and registration details from the college and provisions of their own country. And it is very much, it's being passed on to the clinics that might be looking to hire them, who want to tap with them. So the verification of their international is still up to the clinics, but we try to support them in providing that information.
So Sunil Desai, Peace Oncology at the Strawberry in Edmonton. The other question I have is you have 4,500 physicians or 5,000 locums. Are they all Canadian based or is it international physicians?
Yeah, I would say the majority, around 90%, is Canadian based. We're getting more and more internationals looking at the platform, so especially from the US, also from India and UK, using the platform on a daily basis. But they're quite often looking more so at the short-term local opportunities to come in here, spending a few months, and then potentially going back.
And so the follow-up question to that then is if you're registered on your platform, is there a cost to it to either the physician or the and how does what's the obviously is there a cost? There must be a cost attached to running the system, and how is it covered and who pays for it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the system is completely free, but then you can purchase add-on services. So we were actually initially funded by the Canadian Medical Association. We won the innovation round jewel that got us started. Then we raised some additional revenue funding. So that essentially got us to this point. And right now, what we are developing is revenue streams that essentially fund the network. So it's completely free for physicians and clinics to join. If you want to make use of our recruiter tools or some of these employer branding campaign, those are paid engagements. But essentially, you can start free and start using platforms today if you want.
So one other quick 2 follow-up questions and I'll pass on somebody else. So are these physicians family physicians, or especially what's the breakdown of the composition of who you have? And the last question would be, who connects them? Is it how do patients or families or whoever or the population, how do they connect with them and how does that interact?
I'm going to answer your second question first. So the network itself is designed by health professionals. So right now there's no patient interaction that is provided through the network itself. It is also physicians connection, try and get them into the right places. The same will be happening with health professionals, but it also provides an opportunity to support patient referrals. So, for example, identifying new specialists, knowing that maybe specialists that you normally refer to has a really long waiting time, so now you can find people outside of your known network to identify them. When it comes to the fraction of how the network is split up, it very much mirrors the population density. We start off in county actually, grow across the first year and then expand across the entire country, with the majority of physicians being in Alberta and Ontario, and then BC is sort of a close where we are. The majority, so 85% is family physicians, and now we sort of accelerating our growth of specialists, so right now we're around 15%, but accelerating on that side as well.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. I'm Chris Levin, infectious oncologist by training, and I'm the associate director for clinical trials at the Biomedical University of Calgary. So my question is going to be like a 2-part question. The first one is, Canada is, for now, given the COVID vision that we have, there's lots of immigrant doctors that are in Canada, and most of them need to clear the boards, register with the College of Physicians. So how do you take into account those physicians? Are they on your platform? Are they eligible to work? How do you connect them into who, or do they do extra clinical jobs? And then the second question would be, I'm just interested about the, the vision for the whole platform. You've shown that for India, for the US. So is it in 10 years, once the platform gets saturated, then what? Would a business model to stop there, or how do you go global with it? I'm just looking at that.
Yeah, great question. In terms of the support of international physicians, what we're currently providing is essentially being on the platform, so it represents the both visits. Sorry, the numbers in terms of the dates are the date the networks were founded, and the physicians numbers is a snapshot of 2022. So it took them a few years to get to the numbers that you see being represented here.
Right, so these are the physicians on that particular network, right? Yeah, my question is, the change in the number of physicians since those times.
So these are the most recent time of the 2022. So I don't know what the latest numbers are since then. I could be looking into those, but yeah, that's I'm not totally sure. Okay, thank you.
All right, so that's all the time we have for questions. If someone wanted to reach out to Maximilian, would you have your contact information or any way to reach you for more questions?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn. Please talk to me here. We'd love to exchange information and contact. Yeah, love to talk to you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so that's the end of the first session of pitches. After the short break, we will have another chairperson who's going to be closing. But I just want to say they're great pitches by Maximilian. Feel free to reach out to them if you have any more questions.
Yeah, if Ali Salman is in the room, he's our next chair. If not, I'll run it. Okay, well, thanks. Have a good break, and we'll meet in 15 minutes. Sorry about that. I lost camera, so I need to work on this.
Okay. Do you want me to share the next three? Ali's gonna be fine here.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay.
If you have time.
Yes, of course.
Pardon me?
Video is not good.
Yeah, I realize I have a problem, and I don't know exactly how to fix it.
Are you also watching the Zoom?
I am also watching.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why this camera has died, but it looks like all videos are off.
I was.
It's very weird.
Or maybe we need to select it from the.
Okay, so now we're good. And now. Oh, okay, we're back. Apologies for that. We were off for a little while. My fault there. So I'm gonna get this back on. Yeah, we're probably, a little early. I'm just gonna work on the microphone and make sure the next session is good for all our online participants. And again, apologize for that loss of communication.
Just like here, actually, where we were sitting.
Online?
We were fine.
Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah, I'm just gonna work on the online, but yeah, I think all is good. Zach is gonna chair the next session, so I've just got to work on the Zoom bit. I'll just check it out here.
Yeah, Aneal.
10 hours ago? Okay, great.
Looks like it's.
All right, we'll get you loaded up in a second here.
Yes. Yeah, so just, so the schedule we can whether we can this switched up, so and so just let you okay, just let them know. Yeah, this is good for you. Yeah, but there's but that's the right. I wasn't sure what.
Which way are these things supposed to turn? Which way these things turn? You turn it right or left?
Right.
Turn it right. Left side.
Let's just get your deck on. We have, hi, Amir.
Yeah, that looks good. Pretty close, yeah. Pretty close, yeah. Testing. You can hear me okay. I want to know if you can hear me by Zoom.
I'd like to encourage everybody to find their seats. We're about to begin our second session. And if Ali Salmon is in the room, please let me know. If not, that's totally fine. I'm going to ask Zach to chair our next session. Zach is my most dependable chair, and he's going to introduce our first speaker. So feel free to grab your cup of coffee, and we can continue the conversations in the next break. Just find a seat if you could, including all of those at the back. Can you hear me at the back? Okay. If everybody could please find their seats, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much for networking and engaging with each other. That's what we love to see, but we also want to give our speakers a chance to tell their stories. So I'm hoping you can all hear me at the back. And just to let you know, there are evaluation forms on the tables. It's not required, but if you do want to evaluate the pitches, feel free to indicate your name and the pitch, the company or the presenter, and give them some feedback, some evaluation, and then drop it off with any of the DiscoveryLab volunteers or myself here at the front. But we'll share that anonymously with the teams that present to help them continue to improve their pitch. So thanks for helping them as well with those pitch evaluations. If you need more, there's some around on the table. Okay, Zach, I'll hand it over to you.
All right, thank you very much. And next up, we have presenters from PeerX.AI. We have Ty and Jefferson. Make your way up to the front. And PeerX.AI is a platform for peer support that's powered by AI.
Oh no, that's the it's open. Yeah, no, it's open. Yeah, that's it.
Ryan, are you here? You're
just hold it for a second. Beauty. And then excellent.
Perfect. If you didn't figure that out, you guys have had to endure one of my jokes.
Everybody hears me right? Hi, my name is Jefferson Rock. I'm the founder for PeerX.AI. I carry 15 years of technology sales experience. However, for the last 3 years ago, my mental health challenges put me on a different path, where I experienced anxiety and depression for the first time, and really became obsessed with solving this problem for myself, but also for humanity, because at the same time, people around me died by suicide, unfortunately. So looking at it from the lens of a 5-year-old, because I was very fearful that my child could develop those similar symptoms, I reverse engineered my problems and imagined a collective way to approach mental health, and thought about how to leverage AI to orchestrate the experience. But I was not alone in suffering from those issues. In fact, 65% of millennials feel isolated when it comes to mental illness. This fosters loneliness, which is as lethal as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And loneliness costs a lot of money to American companies, $154 billion a year. But then this pervasive issue is exacerbated. I'm French, so I mess up English words sometimes. By the hybrid workplace, which bring a whole set of workplace complexities, right? And when it comes to the solution available to the workforce and to employees, they're quite reactive in nature and really doesn't drive the engagement and the retention of employees. As a result, we're bringing forward a collective approach to wellness that is peer support powered by AI in order to help people share, understand, and address their feeling in safe spaces. Peer support as an intervention method is proactive and preventative and improves the quality of life and really reduces the need for hospitalization. According to data, peer support drives the highest engagement across 5 different intervention methods when it comes to mindfulness, meditation, mood trackers, or journaling. Peer support is also as effective as therapy itself for mild to moderate cases of mental challenges. So in summary, our solution is to provide a psychologically safe environment for people to normalize these mental health conversations, leveraging AI on the back end to foster empathy in those conversations, make empathetic recommendation when it comes to the words and tone of language people are using. Also fostering emotional intelligence for people, taking into consideration that diversity, equity, and inclusion, mental health is actually bleeding over diversity, equity, and inclusion, and organization needs to find ways to address the needs of a diverse workforce. And ultimately taking into account security, privacy, to ensure that our platform is trustworthy. So when we sat down with Wayfound Mental Health Group, it's a network of mental health clinics that focuses on first responders. They do therapy for everybody, but has that specific approach to first responders. But they also carry their before operational stress psychoeducation on their that is proprietary to them. They provide in-person peer support. And they also wanted to amplify the reach of their before operational stress program. What our platform allows them to do is to bring that experience virtual with leveraging AI as the moderator for peer support settings, but also leveraging AI to curate the psychoeducation content and provide it to people in peer support setting to facilitate peer learning. So the expected outcome for them is to increase patient engagement, retention, and advocacy, but also patient success. But ultimately, our platform will allow for them to grow their business. Our business model is a SaaS platform offered for $4.99 per employee per month or per user per month. We also have a channel sales strategy where we will partner with organizations like Wayfound that will resell on our behalf, or third-party benefit administrators and insurers. Ty will be mentioning that in a couple of slides.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so I'm Dr. Ty McKinney, the Chief Science Officer at PeerX, and I bring over 10 years of research experience in technology-based psychological assessment in order to lead our R&D efforts. And I'm also supporting our data-driven professional services, such as wellness program audits in order to facilitate pre-sales efforts, as well as post-sale customer success. And we're using proprietary analytic technology in order to streamline the delivery of these services and collect the data that we need in order to train our novel AI solutions. Does it work better over here? I'll just go like this. All right, so we're initially going to be targeting non-acute care clinics such as Wayfound Mental Health as our beachhead market. After that, we're going to be leveraging the data we collect from the care providers in order to make a stronger case towards group health insurers as well as third-party administrators using the channel sales approach that Jefferson mentioned. Right now, we're not directly pursuing any corporate sales. However, we do remain opportunistic if those opportunities arise. And I really can't understate how immense this market opportunity is. A quick show of hands, how many people know somebody with a mental health challenge? Yeah, so over 45 million people in North America are currently receiving treatment for mental health. And globally, this is a $16 trillion market opportunity. Our customers, for the most part, really like to box themselves into different categories of reactive service-based solutions. But we're creating a new approach to doing mental wellness that leverages a continuum of care. Because we're partnering with high-quality companies like Wayfound, we're able to offer curated psychoeducational content in order to help improve engagement initially, unlike some of our competitors. And while some of our competitors do offer AI-powered moderation and resource recommendation, We'll be offering both of those, and uniquely, we'll also be offering that empathetic language training, again, to drive positive outcomes. Looking at our roadmap, right now we're conducting trials in order to evaluate the performance of our community moderation AIs, as well as benchmark our engagement KPI. Next, we'll be launching the empathetic language training, which, according to peer-reviewed data, can boost performance of up to 38%. Basically taking anybody in this room and making you comparable to somebody that's received certified training for peer support.
This concludes the presentation. We're currently fundraising. We're happy to meet with investors. We're 50% into our $1.5 million round, and we're happy to answer your question.
Yeah, like Jefferson said, we're taking questions from the crowd, and it looks like we have someone right there in the middle of the room.
Have you considered broadening the scope of it to general health, like diet and exercise? I'd be interested if my employer gave me an app that made sure I drink my water.
Absolutely. So by definition, mental health is your mental, physical, fitness, nutrition, and spiritual. So the goal is to start with mental health professional, clinical professional that will be matched on the platform, and it's organization based. But ultimately, we want to be able to use those conversations to understand what people are suffering from, use that conversation data to remove the friction of searching for a professional, and use that data to match them with the right professional. That could be in all of those 5 areas of wellness. We're not focusing on increasing the network of professionals. I think Cherry Health does a very good job at that, and potentially there's collaboration there, Cherry Health, wherever you are. Hey. But essentially, we want to be able to match that and partner with the ecosystem to streamline the experience.
And thank you, Gijs Roy, I'm Chief Center for Culture Genome Awareness. Just a question, I mean, I would imagine the people accessing your platform, I mean, they would be vulnerable. And so I'm sort of wondering, what is the role of medical professionals in sort of monitoring what happens on your platform to make sure that when people reach out and you do detect that there is some issues that require medical intervention, that could be accommodated?
I'm really glad you asked that, because that's one of the questions that we've been getting a lot from our customers. And the short answer is that it's complicated, like any big issue. But basically, there is legislative requirements for how these incidents need to be managed at the provincial level. And then work with our customers in order to look at what their policies are and make sure that the risk is sufficiently mitigated. And this includes, right now, we're looking at working with Distress Center in Calgary as one of the collaborators we could triage some of those high-risk cases to. So our AI will flag those high-risk psychological scenario risk cases and then direct them to the appropriate authorities. That's how we're initially managing it. But then, depending on the company policy, again, we can have different permutations for how that gets escalated to the appropriate service provider to manage the risk.
Just like Ty made allusion to, we currently have built 13, well, not our CTO built 13 AIs. There's a set of AIs that looks at, anonymity, protection AIs from abuse and what have you, but they're also empathetic language training AIs that will help people in those conversations. So it's really, leveraging natural language processing to look at those keywords and flag them when they occur, enter up the conversation and escalate to the proper services.
That answers your question, right?
Okay. One more up here.
Hey, Jefferson. What is your immediate challenges right now? What are you going to use your funds for?
We have been bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is very difficult. So every month we're running out of money. So we're going to use the funds to hire our team full-time and deliver our data platform to Wayfound. But also recently, we entered negotiation with No Fear Counseling, a network of 60 mental health clinics in Western Canada. We see a market pool of we see the demand because people are trending from an upstream strategy. So the goal is to bring the product to beta, leverage that in proof of concept that we're doing with Wayfound and No Fear Counseling, get the team full time and grow from there.
Hey, Jefferson.
I may have missed this in the slides. Have you shared this platform with psychologists or psychiatrists to get their views on the clinical bullet?
Yes.
Yeah, so we found our first customer is an agency of psychologists, so they're giving us a lot of input in what they think the UX should looks like. We recently just co-developed what our success metrics are going to be with them. And Normative Counseling is also a psychologist network as well. So we are consulting with the relevant healthcare professionals in order to make sure that it's going to support their patients' needs.
Right. Thank you very much. I think that's all the time we have today. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. And then next up, I'd like to call up Amir Nezhad, who is the CEO of CriticareDx. I'll let Amir give his presentation now.
Yes, supposed to be Jessica co-presenting together, but she's not here yet. So, this is Amir Nezhad, director of the CEO of the basically director of PeerX and associate professor at the University of Calgary. So PeerX is a company based in Calgary focusing on developing diagnostic platforms, supporting different stakeholders in this area, supporting a lot of companies developing their own diagnostic platform, as well as other customers like hospitals and others that they need to have new versions of these point-of-care devices. So we do support a lot of different companies that they're going to be really moving forward from their own prototype version to more kind of actual prototype in the area of point-of-care. And all point-of-care devices basically are going to be focusing on the one defined as sample to result test kit. So there's no manual processing the samples during the testing. And the company is basically founded by people in the area of the technology development and biosensor microfluidic area, and the support from the team in the business side, as well as the advisory team supporting clinical validation and testing, and recently a lot of collaboration from manufacturing side. So the problem is basically existing point-of-care devices that are in the market. They are not as accurate as gold standard as we know. Most of them, they are used as a kind of screening purposes. But if you're going to use them as a kind of diagnostic purpose, they have to meet the requirement to be equivalent as a gold standard approaches. So that is a challenge. If you're going to use devices as a diagnostic purposes, we still have to do a lot of work to make them really more accurate and really get into sample to result test kit concept. There are a lot of new platforms have been developed, particularly after COVID time, and the challenge has been how to tackle the regulatory pathway for these kind of devices. And then because of lack of reliability in terms of stability and so on, these platforms, they are still defined as a kind of device used in the lab, but these platforms have not been introduced by regulatory bodies, so the pathway is going to be very long and it's not going to be eventually basically commercialized. And the other challenge is basically how reliable are these devices to be manufactured. We don't have that kind of manufacturing in North America enough to address the needs of this diagnostic platform. They are quite emerging one. And that is exactly what PeerX comes to play. We provide a solution to address really supporting this technology platform to move away from the lab and get them all the way to the quality control and regulatory pathway. It's not just limited to the technology critical has. We do support quite similar things. We have done enough work to actually address the stability challenge and many of the concerns in terms of giving these devices to the end user to use that, so that all of human performance factor come to play. We have also established a network now to really accelerate the regulatory pathway. So these kind of devices need to be introduced to the regulatory team. They need to understand advantage, drawback of this platform.
And that's going to be expediting the process to see one after another they're going to get approved. So that's not happened for these emerging technology platforms. Over the last 2 years, we have been spending enough time to figure out who's going to be the actual manufacturer partner and how we actually can expedite the process. For each of the diagnostic platform, we need 10,000, 20,000 devices right at the beginning to get the regulatory pathway. But making that number of devices is quite impossible without having a good manufacturing process. So rather than starting from the scale production, we actually established a model of pilot manufacturing, and we are working with the companies to really establish the workflow to do that. So these are addressing the way that we are addressing the challenges area. So opportunity is really point of care. So we do see these point of care devices coming to market. Most of them, they are still used as a professional, by the professional, but we can use them by the lay people in home and in any remote and rural settings. They need to be addressing a lot of the challenges that they are still not there in terms of regulatory and in terms of performance. So in that sense, we are addressing particular targeting certain diseases that we do have focus in CriticareDx, brain injury concussion, bladder cancer, and viral and bacterial infection. But there are a lot of other customers that they have their own biomarker. They're going to be really changing their own bioassays to a point of care device that's going to be addressing their own clinical needs. So we have done several preclinical validations so far. As I mentioned, some of the diseases already, like for detection of a concussion, differentiation of the SARS-CoV-2, flu A, flu B, and RSV. That's the one we have done, and then we are just getting to more quality control and really doing the clinical validation regulatory process. It demonstrated that how good they can be performing as equivalent as to gold standard approaches, but it's going to be PCR or ELISA assays, much more better than ELISA assays. We also have extended the product portfolio from point of care now to more wearable version, like putting a patch in the skin, measuring cortisol level and many of biomarker lactate and so on. And then converting that kind of things more miniaturized to more a smart capsule to monitor the gut microbiome diversity and getting understanding the cancer, colon cancer things. So we do have a portfolio of products that coming through. Some of them are in the latest stage of getting regulatory process done, but some of them actually passing clinical validation. And we also support other companies that they have similar challenge that we have been facing for bringing this emerging technology to the market. So compared to that, we have established like a software that is designing the point of care device based on the type of assays you offer. We convert to that type of biosensor that's going to be addressing that, as well as the microfluidic system that automating the entire process from sample preparation, extraction, purification, detection, and everything would be within the chip itself, and reducing that timeline from like months to like a few weeks, because that software is already designed and tested for so many different purposes. And as I mentioned, we established that the pilot manufacturing is an expedited process. It's going to be 2 to 4 months. You get 10,000, 20,000 devices. Like we need to get all the regulatory done for the purpose that we are expecting to have. So we are planning to growth based on expanding from the type of disease we are focusing, working in partnership with others that they have diabetes and many other diseases they are focused on. And then also providing service to a company like Starfish Medical and VTT, Nezhad in Europe and others that they are really have the same kind of customers that they are tackling the challenge of reliability and meeting requirements of the regulatory side. And then we are expecting to really have more and more devices coming to market and see how people can get feedback from end user and improving the performance for actually in-home testing. So really quantitative point of care assays that they can use easily in home. And we have already done all kind of biomarkers I mentioned here, like a small molecule protein, RNA, and so on, all the biomarkers are already established in this area. So we have been mainly tackling over the last couple of years to stabilize this sensor and see how they can be meeting the requirement of regulatory. But with the partnership of manufacturers of bioreagent we need for these devices and material and so on, we're going to be ramping up now for establishing manufacturing with a partnership with the University of Calgary and Gene Biomedical going to be presenting today afternoon or maybe after this session to have the first pilot manufacturing of these devices in Calgary, and that will be expanding for basically other type of medical devices. But that would be certified CPSA lab as well as certified ISO 13485. And then we are definitely raising funding. Most of the funding going to be dedicated to manufacturing, but as well as supporting most of IPs and really getting to quality control required for these devices. So in summary, these are new emerging technology platform coming to play, but it's going to be getting regulatory pathway. We have to tackle those challenges. That has been a challenge to address the quality need of this emerging technology and really familiarize the regulatory with these kind of devices. So where it can be applied, what would be the first adapter in the clinical side, And then at which of those devices can actually be used in home, or which one should be used in actual clinical settings. So with that, I'm happy to answer any question. As I mentioned, we are also raising the funding for establishing that CPSA lab. Is a clinical validation lab very specific to point of care devices, as well as really going to more pilot manufacturing of point of care as well as other medical devices. It's going to be done in Calgary in the next couple of years. But we're going to mention daily this year is question.
Yeah, great presentation. Do we have any questions?
Maybe you can mention a couple words about Gene Biomedical and the collaboration you're
Yeah,
striking.
Gene Biomedical is a Vancouver-based company. They are basically one of the few manufacturers of these medical devices in US and Canada. They enjoy the type of technology. They have been mostly lateral flow assay type of things on all different kinds. But with the emerging microfluidic and biosensor that we bring on board and the type of IP that's supporting them, they can actually add the value to the IPs. And we already established collaboration partnership with University of Calgary, dedicated space with lots of collaboration partnership to really make a pretty large 260,000 square feet area for pilot manufacturing of these devices. And that would be started as a mission from Calgary, but a lot of national international partners that we want to get benefit from that certified lab. So I guess she was supposed to be here, but we'll be probably here in an hour or two. So to present the partnership part.
Hi there. Can you go to slide 8?
Yes.
The competitive slide.
I see slide number.
Right. Oh, yep. So when I look at CriticareDx and across the other ones, it seems like some of the other competitive players are very similar to you. And I know you pointed out a few differentiators, but can you just comment on what a key differentiator for CriticareDx?
So it's not generally all the diagnostic devices. These are the ones that they have a very good microfluidic platform that they can do automated assay. So if you put a sample into the inlet, then there is no manual process to extract from RNA, DNA. Everything is done within the chip. You do extract everything, you do purify. So these are like a sensorial is the most advanced microfluidic version, but they have optical detection. They don't have any electrochemical, so they are limited in terms of resolution. But if you go to a universal biosensor, which is the most known in biosensor area, they don't have any microfluidics, basically. They only have a good sensor that they can detect, but some manual process needs to be done. So it has to be done by professional. So Roche and Abbott, they do have some microfluidic, but sorry, electrochemical, like for glucose detection and so on. They are really 4 small molecules that they like an enzymatic detection. We are the only one combining microfluidics with electrochemical for immunoassay detection, RNA, protein, DNA, and all the biomarker. But it's not just randomly doing something and test it. We have established a software. That software is designing. If you give the bioassay protocol, we give you exactly within 1 to 2 the final prototype. What would be that prototype? So we are not even limited in electrochemical. We have done optical assay and others. But we have like been 1,000 times more sensitive at laser detection. None of those companies has established that. And we are demonstrating for someone like concussion resonation from on those others. So combining electrochemical and microfluidic give us a chance of getting that sample to result test kits, but they are quite quantitative. And then you can do everything within the same test kit that we have seen during the COVID time. But it's really quantitative measuring like picogram and femtogram resolution of the protein and some of the other biomedical stuff.
Well, thank you. That's helpful. That's not on the slide.
Yeah, sorry, just because of timing.
Performance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions from the crowd? If not, I have one myself. I think it's very important to assess biomarkers, especially when you're considering the healthcare outcomes. In terms of what you're targeting, would you be looking at like better diagnosis for cancer or cardiovascular disease, or what sort of things are the biosensors measuring?
Yeah, like I'm just gonna go like example of bladder cancer, right? Bladder cancer is the most recurrent type of cancer. So if the patient, the clinician is going to remove the tumor, they have to do basically monitoring the recurrence of the cancer itself. So it's like done by cystoscopy every 3 months. It's pretty much invasive and there's no data point in between. So if someone gets a bladder cancer and you remove the tumor, if you use this device in the home by the urine testing, you can, every 2 days or 3 days, you can monitor the exosome biomarker, which is an indication of whether you are actually going to get to recovery or not. Or sorry, whether there's any recurrence happen for the cancer or not. So you are going to have a lot of data points before every 3 months testing, which is quite invasive. So then you actually can customize your chemotherapy process. If there's no risk of getting back to the cancer again, and you don't have any extra tumor coming back, why you have to get to extreme like a chemotherapy process? That's going to be optimized, and you can reduce the side effect of the drug and therapy you're using. Same as for concussion. So you are not going to recover if this biomarker get back to normal. But if you keep monitoring yourself after getting concussion, then you actually know whether it's time to get back to sport or not. So that would be more quantitative rather than more qualitative evaluation of concussion. So these are the quantitative evaluation of your disease condition, and then you can get to back to work properly before like concussion. You don't want to get back to like sport if you already have the impact of concussion. So you're going to get recovered completely, and then it's time to return to work. So these are the new versions, but as accurate as PCR or as accurate as ELISA, this is a key differentiation from our technology with respect to others.
Yeah, very fascinating. I think we have one more question, and we'll head into our break.
I'm more familiar with traditional point of care testing. So have you overcome some of the like I assume it's a cartridge based technology. So expiration dates needing to be held in the fridge, like if this is all can be in anyone's home.
Exactly. So that's one of the key differentiations. Stabilizing peptide, DNA, RNA, protein, antibodies. These are the one has been a challenge for a while. This is exactly we have focused the last couple of years. We established a lot of ways of stabilizing antibodies, stabilizing, like improving the shelf life performance. So it's different based on supply chains coming through, but this is exactly what we have tackled. That's the need of most of the company. They are good biosensors, but they are unstable in the shelf life. So we figure out how to stabilize antibody on the surface, how to stabilize those proteins, and how to improve the functionalization and then getting more quality control performance coming through. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Amir. Great presentation.
Thank you all for the great questions. Thanks to Zach for chairing so wonderfully today. We're very talented students like Zach, applying for medical school. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck. Thank you all for great discussion. Here's a change. Jessica is going to present at the end, so we're going to move all the pitches 10 minutes up. So you've got about 13 minutes to grab a coffee, and then we're going to resume with WWiKY in about 10 minutes. Is that all right? Very good. Thanks. Hi there. Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Okay. So you're can you just see this one and just so I can get back in case you want to just write your name there, just or your email or something, just in case people want
on all of them. I just said my full name.
I use it anonymously, but if you want me to show it,
on all of them?
Well, just one. I'll just hold them up. Great, thank you. So you've got a good team here today.
Well, I got Mark, I'm good. We think very highly of it. And I've been to the one in Calgary, so I did want to thank you for posting these things. They're always fun.
Yeah, well, thank you. You guys make a big difference. Yeah. Well, thanks, and I'm looking forward to the possibility of doing something in the future.
Sure. Yeah, reach out to us. We're always open to it.
We just need to find a date for it. So I think you guys were thinking something already in the spring. Mark mentioned that.
Mark, yeah.
All questions and also.
Okay, sounds good.
Good.
Yes.
No, I was just seeing, I didn't see ours.
Yeah, let's make sure maybe you can just take a look here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get everything queued up.
Yeah, Michael, so with Jessica gone, does that mean we have a 30-minute break right now?
No, I'm gonna put her at the end.
Oh, okay.
We're moving everything 10 minutes off.
Okay, no worries. Did you let everybody know that? Okay, perfect.
Because she's. Some people register themselves and the same person and
Yes.
those are their names, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just make sure that you're, so you're, we have. Okay, so we got a break there, right?
Okay.
So, okay, hi there,
Hi.
you're,
Yeah, from Diagnostics.
yes, perfect.
Yeah.
And where do we have you in the schedule?
11:25, so I guess.
Okay, yeah, so let's just get all the presentations. I just want to make sure we have the latest. Sure. Okay, perfect.
And I was asking, can I have your PowerPoint or can I be here? Because I noticed that when it has like.
Whatever you want.
Okay, so. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I recommend.
You may want to consider it as, but I would also pay.
Yeah, I apologize, that was a bit of a problem there. Okay, so we, put them in the company name. So you are- Which one is it? Is it the non-confidential discovery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's only one. Yeah. And the timing is like, time nights. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's. I actually, I have like postdoc about like little kind of over. Are you mentioning changes? Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
It's all tested out, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah, it's, we're gonna call Mirna.
But you don't.
Yeah.
I grab it, I know you.
No, I know I have it, but you're.
That's fine. Thank you very much. Okay.
Hi there.
Open my slide so that I save that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I will.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a model of Yep, yep. Hi there, thanks for helping out.
Yeah, so I presume you spoke with Ken?
Yeah, I hear he's got a couple issues with him.
He does, this is stuff crazy.
Yeah.
So, I just like to get any specific instructions. I'm gonna fire up and have a look at these couple of companies that I've been introduced.
Yeah.
Is there anything,
Yeah, no, we just keep it kind of brief. It's sort of informal. You can just, as they're transitioning to their slides.
I wasn't able to register online. If you want to, into and I bet. Response to people log in. You don't see what's all. Because it's very brief bio here. So you oh, okay, let me make that one. And then you have it's kind of cleaned up because just so so we may have 4 pictures for that. I'm not gonna help. Well, I can just set up in the Pure or let your boss grab a seat anywhere you wish. There's plenty of room up front here. Yeah, sometimes sound dies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My dad came in 65.
Okay, so I now sound coming from here. So I think people can probably hear that.
Yeah.
And
that may be better sound actually.
This sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, I put this on the table, but I don't know if there was feedback or something. So
it may create echo.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Zoom usually cancels it out, but might be an issue. So I don't have any questions coming up for this, but if you see any questions,
I have not seen any.
Feel free to ask. I can't see this because I'm kind of, yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's that. Makes sense.
Oh, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, so that was original. Like it's just the one that's on PeerX. Oh, yeah, it's. She's the one that should be right now. Now it's unrestricted. Delay, what's the delay? No, it's actually 15 seconds. That's it. All perfect. Yeah, they're saying, okay, thank you very much for enjoying the networking session and your copies. I'd like to encourage everybody, including those at the very back, to find their seats. Maybe you can hear me in the back, otherwise I'll swallow the microphone. Thank you very much for your conversations, but we're going to now have our next session. We have a couple more exciting pitches. So those of you, okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for your attention here. We're about to begin our next session, and I apologize. It's a bit hard to hear the speakers at the very back. Do feel free to move up to the front. Plenty more seats here where the sound is a little bit better. I'd like to introduce our next chair, Rajiv Nair, who is a consultant in the NHS at Nuneaton Hospital, and it's fantastic to have him here today chairing our next session. He's an expert in diabetes, and he also managed a COVID hospital. He's done a lot, and he's here to chair our next session. Thanks, Rajiv.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's a pleasure to be over here. I'm diabetes and endocrine consultant, and it's wonderful to be part of this conference. Without much ado, I'm really going to basically introduce Piyush Kumar, who is developing cancer theranostics that exploit hypoxia, which leads to metastatic progression and resistance. So Piyush, you have the floor.
Thank you.
And while we're getting set up, just remember, feel free to give feedback to any of the presenters. There's forums on your tables. You can just give some feedback, what you liked, what you didn't like. Some of these people are looking to raise funds and they want to know how you feel about their pitch, and then hand that back to me. I'll collect that and give it back anonymously to the presenters. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Piyush Kumar, one of the co-founders of WWiKY BioSciences, and I'm here to talk about the unmet therapy challenge in cancer, which is basically management of oxygen-deprived malignant tumors, also called hypoxic tumors. Deeply concerning is the fact that globally cancer cases are on the rise. In 2023 alone, we had 20 million new cancer cases and 50% mortality. Probably people don't know, but this mortality rate is very close to the number of patients that are diagnosed with hypoxic tumors. Why is it so challenging? Because hypoxia is hallmark of all types of cancers. Over 40% of patients are diagnosed with such tumors. Hypoxia promotes metastatic progression and therapy resistance, and there is no treatment yet. Conventional therapies fail, so we believe that WWiKY's hypoxia technology can provide a theranostic, i.e., a therapeutic and diagnostic solution to this challenge. Our mission is to provide precision, safe, and effective theranostic management of hypoxic tumors and make the science and business globally accessible. In the future, we'd also like to advance this technology in the management of other diseases like diabetes, arthritis, etc. We have a track record. To support our track record, we invented a product called PESA, which is a PET radiopharmaceutical for diagnosing and staging hypoxic tumors, and it's used in many cancer hospitals to manage the patient. Our products, and I must say in the beginning that we hold lots of patents and related to this product and the methodology. So the first product, which we'll be talking in more details, is the precision theranostic drug. And the beauty of this technology is that same drug can deliver both therapy and diagnosis of many types of cancers. The clinical trial phase 1/2 has been approved by Health Canada. To support our drug, we have the diagnostic efficacy established in many cancer types and many patients. It can facilitate PET or SPECT imaging, so if you have a choice of imaging, it's precise and target because it targets only hypoxic regions of the tumors. For treatment, we have tested that the dose delivered into the tumor is effective to kill the tumor. So it's safe and precise. Our clinical trial design is for 30 patients. We'll recruit the patients by giving a diagnostic dose of hypoxin 1 and identify where the tumor is, and then identify those patients, take forward, analyze the images, and calculate precise dose of radiation in the tumor, and then treat them with exactly the same dose. So it's a precision theranostic agent. Competitive advantages. Clearly, you can see that which is hypoxia 1 has clear edge over others because it can image hypoxia, it can treat hypoxia, it has a choice of PET or SPECT imaging. The closest competitor is MIBG, which can image tumors and treat also, but only one cancer type, and that's also non-hypoxic. And other agents are only treatment agents. If you look at the market projections, what I have done is we have considered only 0.5% of hypoxic cancer patients with only one cancer condition, and then calculated the projections based on the charges charged by the big pharma for imaging and treatment. And if you look at the right bottom, this is the projection that we have with our product. With blue is the diagnostic market in billions, and with orange, the therapeutic market. So we have a global market once we reach there. This is second product. It's basically a hypoxia mapping agent at the cellular level, and is compared with a commercial product called palmonazole. But our technology is far superior in the fact that it's rapid, it's done in 30 minutes versus 4 hours for the other commercial agent, and it's cost effective. So to conclude, we have several competitive advantages to tap the untapped global market because it's personalized and precise for many types of cancer. We have imaging choice, and we have business partners signed, and it has application in other departments, in other diseases also. We need about $8 million to complete phase 1-2 trial, market hypoxia M, the second product, and the precursor, and hiring a business third, and scientific personnel for pipeline growth. And we have investment to date. We got grants from Alberta Innovates about 3.5 million, and we have invested our own money as well. When we go to next phase, we'll be needing more money. We are located in Edmonton, Canada. We have a joint co in China as well, and they are working on IND filing for hypoxia 1. We have discussions going on in Singapore, investors, and the clinical team as well. We have collaborations in US, and India, and the UK. Our team has highly recognized people in the scientific and business committee, and we are supported by business, clinical, and scientific advisors. Thank you. And at the end, I would like to say we need support from the clinical and business committees so that we can benefit the patients, scientific, and the business committees. Thanks.
Thank you, Piyush. So I'd like to, yep, you have something.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. Again, Tyson Rowan, Chief Scientific Officer for Genome Aware. So considering that I'm associated with a genomics-based organization, probably this question probably you won't be surprised, but have you used any sort of genomic analysis on your patients, potential patients, to stratify your population to, I guess, to have a better target? And is there a genetic link between sort of patients that you treat, and is there an opportunity to use some pharmacogenomics approaches?
So we'll be collecting the samples from the patients anyway. However, the first thing that we are doing to look at the improvement is reduction of tumor size and the longevity of patients. And those samples will be taken out for analysis later on, but that's not part of the trial, which is approved by Health Canada.
Thank you, Piyush. Yep.
First one here from the Impact Group at University of Calgary. My question will be from the regulatory standpoint. So I've seen that you've done this and you're looking at separate geographic or separate different countries. I'm just wondering in terms of the regulatory approach, what class or where does this actually fall and what kind of regulatory approval are you getting to conduct your studies?
So in Canada, we have been approved by Health Canada, which is the main regulatory agencies. When we are going to China, they are working with the guidelines that we have provided to them. So our data validity will be similar and the quality will be higher. Same thing we are doing in India. We are providing them a clinical trial protocol and the regulatory requirements. So when they get approval, they'll be working similarly on the same guidelines so that there's no compromise.
And the indications are same because if the indications are different, then the claims that you have on you will be different. And so if you're using the same thing across the different platforms, will it be the same conclusion that you did with it?
Well, absolutely. So I say that hypoxia is present in all types of cancers. And our trial is approved for all types of cancers. It's for 30 patients. But in the beginning, what we are going to do, we are going to take only 2 kinds so that we can generate data with statistical significance and the quality. And same things we are pursuing in the China and in India so that the data validation is good. When we go to the next phase of trials with broader spectrum, we will face any problems and challenges.
Just wondering about some of the major side effects, especially if you're extending this to other treatments or diseases such as diabetes.
So we have tested the safety, clinical safety of the products at very large levels, and it's completely safe. We have done healthy volunteers also, right? The product is clearing out from all the tissues. When we do patients, it just accumulates in the hypoxic regions of the patient. So it's chemically is completely safe. Radiochemically is safe at diagnostic doses. At therapeutic doses will be investigated at the part, it will be the part of this trial. Yes.
Thank you, Piyush.
I can just yell that out. I'm just wondering if there's a limitation for clients who are traditionally hypoxic, so any kind of respiratory hypoxia that's normative for clients?
So is your question that if there is any other disease going on with which has hypoxic content as well? Is
Yeah,
that
like if those clients couldn't participate because they're already hypoxic normally, are they, is it less sensitive or it won't work on those clients?
there is no limitation? Remember I talked about our end product PASA, which is actually a diagnostic agent and has been used and is being used in many cancer hospitals for diagnosing cancer hypoxic patients. So we did lymphoma patient who had actually diabetic, who was actually turned out to be diabetic as well. And there was some accumulation, but at diagnostic doses, the dose is very limited and the half-life is very short. Okay, so it's immaterial what you do. And you can identify, you can actually figure out, and based on the diagnosis, the patient with hypoxic, you can custom design your treatment with the doses. You know, you go with lower doses or no, same thing. But when we are going with this compound, okay, it's possible, but we'll be careful that we don't interfere with other patients who are having complications of hypoxia due to some of the physiological disorder at this time. They are terminally sick patients anyway, and they have compromised all the treatments. So if anybody is willing to recruit, we'll do that. But to maintain our own data quality, we'll be careful in recruiting proper patients.
Yeah, any other questions? I'm wondering, you're kind of breaking a paradigm with the pharmaceutical industry. But what do they say about what you're doing? Are they receptive? Are they perplexed? Are they willing to invest?
Well, like we have been talking to the investors. For business community, I think they are thinking that we have therapy data, and then we'll have more value, which we will have. But I guess scientifically, people understand what we are trying to address. We need some business person to come up with $8 million basically to prove that we can provide them multiple more folds of benefit later on. So that's where we are. People in China have agreed, so they are actually filing IND at their own cost. In Singapore, we are in advanced discussion. In India, with some expenses, they are going to do a phase 1 clinical trial. So money is the only thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Yes.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm just curious, you mentioned you've got IP and several patents. Are they matching jurisdictions in which you're trying to work with now?
Yeah.
In China, we have IP in India.
Yes, yes. So we have several regional patents also, and they are being examined. We have the comments, so we have responded. So we are okay. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Piyush. That was nice to know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks ever so much.
Well, thanks everyone.
Thank you, Piyush. So we move on to the next speaker, who is Aneal Khan. He's the CEO of DiscoveryDNA project in Calgary, and he provides accredited genetic testing for medical decisions, providing tools for early detection and treatment of diseases. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that I just yes, we did. Any communications? You know, we saw it. Perfect, all ready to go. Thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity to speak. So, up here, is that better? Yeah, I'll speak right now. Thank you. So, my name's Dr. Aneal Khan. I'm CEO of DiscoveryDNA, and we'll talk about what we've been doing and where the company is right now. The company's mission is to improve the health of people using precision genomics. And sometimes I hear that genomics hasn't really changed much in health, and nothing could be further from the truth, especially if you come to my clinic, it's used in every single patient. And empowering people and organizations to produce fast and actionable results. And there is a need for precision genetic testing. 1 in 10 people have a rare disease. That's 3 million Canadians.
more than 300 million people worldwide, which is the size of the population of the United States. And most people with rare diseases have a change in DNA that can be diagnosed using sequencing. Second reason is drug compatibility. There are more than 400 million prescriptions given out each year to Canadians, and a large proportion of those, the information in the genetic code can help determine better compatibility of drugs. The third main application we have is in gene therapies, and we have a mechanism which I'll show very briefly on determining product quality, because what you think may be the gene therapy may not be the gene therapy in the cartoon, and rearrangements can occur. Now, there is value in rapid testing. There is a long wait list. You've heard about physician wait lists in the news, a long wait list to see a specialist, a geneticist, somebody like me, and then another wait in order to get testing. And early diagnosis does make a difference. It's becoming the standard. Rapid genomes are becoming the standard for neonatal intensive care unit infants in the United States and in the UK. And we expect that to be the case in Canada. And our solution is what we call either an ultimate exome or an ultimate genome. An exome is a subsection of the genome that can provide rapid diagnosis. As far as we can tell, we're the only lab that has integrated that test result with pharmacogenomics to give you both answers on one platform. We are accredited by the College of Physicians of Alberta. This is a clinical result, which means it's eligible for other physicians to order. It's also eligible to go on the medical record and be used in clinical practice. And we have an easy method for ordering and reporting. And what's important here is quality. And there's much higher read density, as you can see in this graph here, with the genome compared to, let's say, what we call mainstream tests. I won't name any names, but that might give you 0.2% of the genome, whereas we can get close to 100% of the entire genome using genomic testing. An exome is a subsection of the genome, but 80 to 85% of human genetic diseases are coded on an exome. So this is a mainstay test bill. So as I mentioned, we've been able to integrate pharmacogenomics into our exome and genome platform. And we also have accreditation for long-range mitochondrial gene sequencing, which is a very tough thing to get. We can talk about that if somebody has any questions. And what we've been able to do is shorten the diagnostic journey. On average, it takes about 8 years to get a diagnosis of a rare disease, going from physician to physician. And our average time is about 4 months with a rapid exome or a rapid genome. The fastest we've been able to do it is a few days, and I'll show you an example of that. The rare disease testing market continues to grow. Most of the market in North America right now is in companies based in the United States. As far as we know, there really aren't very many companies, and we've been looking for another accredited company in Canada that's privately based, and we haven't been able to find one. We have the only accredited exome and genome in Alberta right now. Right now, we estimate our market is about 0.08% of the North American market. Of course, the goal is to try to get that to 1%. That would be a great goal for us. And CADIT, which is an agency that reviews new drug applications in Canada, has identified precision genomics as one of the coming technologies also for the Canadian market. I'll talk a little bit about the gene therapy testing we have. And you may have heard about gene therapy in the news. We have a patent for cell-free mitochondrial DNA testing to test for changes in mitochondrial DNA using a non-invasive test. Usually I find that using muscle biopsies, which hurt sometimes, if not all the time, unless you've got an anesthetic. We can also analyze the gene therapy product, which we feel will be an important regulatory step, which can be used by the FDA and Health Canada. Once you produce a gene therapy product, before you inject it into somebody, you want to know whether rearrangements have taken place. And we worked with a company in the US that was developing the gene therapy for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and it wasn't quite working. And using our method, we found a surprising number of rearrangements to show that actually only a fraction of what they think they produce was actually the way it was, and they had to go back to manufacturing methods to change them. We have collaborators in different countries. We have a proven track record. And our development plan right now is really as a B2B company. We're looking for partnerships with other companies, with healthcare organizations. Almost all of the clinical genomic services in Alberta right now goes to out of province. Oh, I have a minute. I better roll through this. Okay, so the other collaboration we have is with Magic Clinic, which has biosafety level 2 accreditation to give gene therapies. And so our goal right now is to look at partnerships, to look at investment, or to look at acquisition with our product, which, like I said, has been accredited and would have similar accreditation in other jurisdictions that can be achieved. And with that, I'll just end with this brief video showing what it can do. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Kumar. I'd like to invite the audience for any questions on this very fascinating rare disease and genetic testing. I mean, we in the NHS, we were involved with the 100,000 genome project and mitochondrial cytopathies. So, yes, please.
Hi, Aneal. Thank you for your presentation. So, Heisman and Genome Alberta. I think there's no question about sort of that there's a lot of discussion about sort of the routine implementation of genomic testing. And of course, then there's a role for private companies like Excels, but there's probably also a role for public, I guess, to build this into sort of a publicly funded and managed by public entities like here in Alberta, APL. So how do you see sort of the efforts of DiscoveryDNA complement what could be done or should be done in Alberta and potentially could apply to other jurisdictions?
Well, it's through collaboration and forming partnerships. As you know very well, we have a partnership through Genome Prairie and Genome Canada to as a partner, service partner for Shared Health in Manitoba and University of Saskatchewan. So those sort of partnerships, I think, can continue to see that we can play more of a role with the public health system in providing these. And again, with our accreditation process, that gives the public health user some confidence that that can go on the medical record and be used for clinical information.
You had that one slide that had the Odyssey.
Yes.
That slide.
Certainly.
So it seems to me that one of the value propositions of the assay is the shortness of the test. But in one slide, it looks like you had 8 years and then you're shortening down to 4 months. It looks like 24x in shortening your time. I'm just curious if you can speak to how are you shortening that Odyssey to such an extent?
Sure. So I'll give you an average process. To see somebody like me on average in Canada would take about 8 years to get there. So part of that is the time it takes for family doctors, yes, to go through your family doctor, but to go through one specialist, to go through another specialist to get to somebody who would be familiar with the test. So you can see that's a huge portion of the journey. And the average time it takes to get that test ordered, processed, and get a result is around 4 to 6 months. As I showed with the video example of that child, that was a child we were able to sequence in 3 days. So some of it is just process, let's just say, process and just getting it done. I can give you more details about that later, but what we've done is shown it's doable. You don't have to have the wait. And with higher throughput and more investment in equipment and things like that, the same thing can be achieved in the average patient actually.
I mean, to buttress that as a clinician, the amount of time it takes before he is seen as a clinician is huge. I mean, when we talk in diabetes and mitochondrial cytopathies, it's creating public awareness as well as awareness amongst medical students and also the primary care physician, where you can cut down the amount of time which is taken. The amount of money which is spent before he is seen would probably be, I mean, in diabetes, for example, or some of the autoimmune disorders and multiple endocrine neoplasia, has been worked out to be almost £700,000, which is a lot of money because multiple episodes, the clinician and the patient. So I think creating awareness about rare diseases and the Genome Project is the key forward.
I love that you shorten the diagnostic side, but there's the whole therapeutic side, and so put it in the hands of primary care, they may, especially if it's a rare disease, they may or may not have the skills or confidence to deal with that. So how are we going to shorten the therapeutic window?
Oh, absolutely. So for some of the very complex rare diseases, one of the ways we've shortened the window, and again, ran out of time, so wasn't able to talk about it, is developing a platform to bring those rare therapeutics here through clinical trials, whether it's through our center or whether it's through other centers. The other major component is none of us learned about this stuff in medical school. So I go around providing teaching, actually, different seminars to family physicians. So partly they can understand my consult report, and partly so that they can appreciate the technology. And they are very interested in that. There is an educational effort, which is part of our Genome Canada objectives, was to improve genomic literacy. So that's really going to be one of the ways that's happened. Yes.
Hi, Alexa, very about. Just a two-part question. One, are the patients that would typically access the asymptomatic and they're just exploring, or are they patients with symptoms that are looking for an answer and they're maybe in the wait list?
Excellent question. So one of the biases I have is I don't see asymptomatic patients, because I'm not a family doctor. So they all have symptoms. They all have to have a problem they come up with. The concept of screening the genome to find hidden problems is not really how it works, because we all have mutations in our DNA, and some of them are not really active. So we need to have a problem that needs to be solved. There needs to be a question that needs to be solved, and then it becomes a very powerful tool.
Thank you. Sorry, just one short follow-up. So then after you get an answer, do they then get referred to an appropriate specialist from your clinic or from the business, or how does that?
Absolutely. So if we get an answer, let's say it's a certain predisposition to a clotting disorder, they'll go to hematology. If it's predisposition to stroke or a cause for stroke, they'll go to neurologist. If it ends up being something in my area, then I'll tell the patient, well, we have a gene therapy trial for Fabry disease or whatever it is. Do you want to participate? So we try to find a place for them to go to get their therapeutics.
Thank you.
Yep, we didn't stop there. Thank you so much.
Feel free to ask more questions during the break, but I'd like to ask Rahim to come forward to give the next talk. I'll also be sharing contact details or emails for internal use so that you can continue to connect after the meeting. Lots of great questions. Thank you so much, all of you, for.
Thank you very much, Dr. Khan. It's my pleasure to introduce Mohammad, Rahim, who's the founder and CSO of chemistry CRO in Edmonton, developing scalable synthetic methods for complex medical chemistry targets and natural products. Thank you. So, thank you all here. I came here to show you some slides to see that is there any investment opportunity for our company here. We are a chemistry CRO company here. I am Mohammad Rahim. I am present this investment opportunity for you guys. We are planning to expand our manufacturing facilities to a GMP1 to manufacture high-value APIs and innovative diagnostic reagents. We are a chemistry CRO company. We are in Edmonton, Alberta, of course, and we started in 2016. And we have highly experienced people working. With most of them are in PhD.
We have well-equipped R&D labs. What do we do? Basically, as I told you that we are doing mostly preclinical drug product we are making here, all are non-GMP right now. And we are working in most of the therapeutics areas, especially cancer, the cardiovascular, anti-inflammatory, as well as CNS too. We have custom synthesis group in our facility, and we can do most of the chemical reactions and make most of the organic compounds what our customer is looking for. And we have expertise in the lipid area. You know that lipid is one of the largest uses in during the pandemic time. People use as a carrier for mRNA vaccine and other. So we have specialists in our company right now, and we are delivering this lipid to many of the pharmaceuticals for clinical use. What we accomplished after we started 7 years ago, we completed over 200 of the custom synthesis work. Our high-value lipid product, as I told, that are used in many pharmaceuticals for clinical purposes. Even though we don't have the GMP right now, but we can deliver the compound product, GMP qualified product, like used for initial clinical purposes. That's the reason we are coming here to see that we can make our GMP lab to deliver these high-value products. We expanded our lab in 7 years from 2,000 to now almost 8,000 square feet with all of the analytical facilities and large-scale reaction facilities also. We established in-house manufacturing facilities for viral transport media (VTM). I have to mention here that during the pandemic, VTM is a very high valuable reagent here to check or store the virus. And we developed this one in-house, and we are in the process of getting Health Canada approval to providing that Alberta's clinics to test this any of the virus or even bacterial infections. We obtained Health Canada's license to make psychedelic compound that is very valuable, and for mental health, I believe that we are the maybe very few of the companies who have this license to make that mental health compound, especially in psychedelics. So this is the things what we are planning. The left-hand side is our present company, what we are doing, making all non-GMP products. So we are planning to make a GMP to make APIs and biologics and analytics. We have the full analytical group in our facilities. So you may have the question that why we need the GMP here. As per my knowledge, there is not any company, dedicated company, who can make API GMP in Alberta. We are currently a non-GMP, and we can make this our product what we are making, and we have existing customer also to make that high value product in GMP manufacturing facilities. We have already our own customers as well as that existing lab, which is ready to expand right now. 2 minutes. And this is the financial forecast, what we are showing here. I don't want to go that details here. I just want to say that we have estimated revenue. We are looking for 8 million over 4 to 5 years. Those would be non-controlled, what we are now doing. As long as we are using our control substances, that's very high value and highly demanding. If any of those products is coming to the market, we will be looking for 20 million revenue in 4 to 5 years. And our market is worldwide. So what I am asking here that we want to raise 2.2 million here, and we are evaluating our company as a 10 million valuation. We already invested 500,000 from a loan from the government funding agencies. And we may need another round of the investor to invest 3.5 to 5 million once our facility is already built and we see the demand for that. We have the place also. If we need to expand, we can expand it easily. And where these funds will go, as I told you, this is our existing lab. We want to take some part of the lab to make it GMP, and that is 2,200 square feet lab we will take, and this is now spare. We are keeping it spare to make it that one. And our time frame is for 9 to 12 months. You can say that one, maybe it will be finished in 9 months, but it depends on everything that to get all the contractor and the equipments and other things. Yeah, so this is the things, and we already use 80% of our QMS work we already done in our facilities. So this is the management team who are like I am the founder of this company and CEO. We have a research director who has a lot of experience, 20 years of experience. We have here Operation Another Damo, who has already more than 10 years of experience. And our senior development scientist who has a GMP experience, who also has more than 15 years of our experience in that GMP area. And thanks all of you.
Thank you very much.
For any question or any feedback I want to get from you guys.
Hi, my name is Piyush, and I'm part of BioSciences. And see that my trial is based on the radiopharmaceuticals that have been manufactured in GMP. Do you have any provision for the radiopharmaceuticals in your devices?
Radiopharmaceuticals, yes, we are not. I am not sure about that. What type of radiopharmaceuticals? We are making some of them. We have a collaboration with University of Saskatchewan. We give them some isotopic compound to do some of their testing. I am not sure we can discuss separately with them.
Thank you. So if there aren't any other questions, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of your biggest challenge, what do you see yourself in about 6 months? Where do you see yourself?
The challenge is here, like you know that we need the funding right now. If we are not getting the fund, we will delay our process. If we delay our process, our existing customer who are our customer right now for non-GMP, they are looking for the GMP products. So these GMP products, if they don't get from us, they will go elsewhere. And in the GMP area, you know that once any customer go to the company, any of the company, they cannot come back by 1-2 days to you. No, it takes a long process to come back. So I want to get the customers, whoever that right now we are working.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering if you can comment on how many companies and how many clinical trials groups in Alberta depend on your productivity.
Yeah, this is a very nice question. Like, I know that there are many of the companies here who are looking for GMP facilities, like one of the Piyush is saying that. And I want to make a here, like from you, like Michael, to see that we can make a link, we can make some kind of connection to see that what we can do with that other people here in the scientific community.
And if I was an investor looking to invest in your GMP facility, what would be the return that I would see? Would that be you got a fraction of revenue from the products that you synthesize in your lab, or how does that work?
I already told that in the slide that 10% of we are evaluating our company $10 million right now. We are looking for 2.2 million. So 10% or 12% will go to the investors. And of course, like later on, if we increase or we go, that will come to there.
I think on slide 6, you had their financial projection. Can you just go to that, please? Right here. So year 1 is current year?
Year 1, I am reporting is the current year means like when we start.
When we start?
We already started, we invested our $500,000 from government funding as a loan. Those are, we are using for QMS and establishing our analytical.
So my question is, can you just help me understand your revenue line? Are you going from 0 from the start and 800,000 doubling from there and going onwards? Can you just help me understand your revenue?
Yeah, Damu can give you that, he is the person.
Thanks for the question. My name is Damu. Again, this is a forecast and depends on the type of project we'll be having. For example, as Rahim said, we have existing customer who's looking for liquids to be made in GMP facility. And this value can be forecasted easily. Like for example, if a project is the next year $250,000, that can be delivered in 1 year. But at the same time, as Rahim mentioned, like we have some customers who are inquiring for psychedelic compounds such as psilocybin and MDMA. Those ones we cannot have an exact forecast. Like for example, last year we delivered a kind of intermediate for MDMA, which is a psychedelic, and the value really jumps from 100,000 to 500,000. And if you get the same product requested to be made in a GMP facility, just the 100 gram of that gets into 2 to 3 million value. So it's been a little bit difficult because the psychedelic market has been not there, but there are a lot of inquiries for the intermediates, but we don't know the exact value of a mature product or a GMP made product when given to the customer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rahim. And I'd like to sort of bring this session to a close by thanking all the speakers for their pitches and for the questions. And I'd sort of encourage the gentlemen and who basically pitched their product to interact with members of the audience and networking and stuff like that, because that's the key to it. Because there are lots of questions, especially on Piyush's hypoxic product and Aneal Khan's genomic project. The fact that basically you need to get that out into medical schools and postgraduate level, because you're right, medical students have absolutely no idea of the therapeutic potential with these, of the genome. Mohammad, Rahim, wonderful about the GMP product, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much, Michael.
Just want to say enjoy the coffee. We'll be back in about 15 minutes, okay? And thank you, Richard.
Sorry, thank you for joining. No, that's fine. No, we're having fun. There was a lot there. A lot there.
We've seen you.
Thank you. Thank you. And can I send you my money as well? Is that all right? Yeah. And you have another.
I was thinking.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm not sure. Did you send me? I just got a look at your email. I haven't checked it.
It'll be for the
Also, I know you're keeping super busy, so thanks for the.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, it's a good bunch. I think you will never get a bit of time, but not many medical school students here.
Yeah.
Should have. Glad you could be here. Yes. I'm gonna try and tape everything and put it online as much as I can. Okay. See if I can.
No.
Yeah, practice. You're not wrong.
We have 4 more.
Yeah.
You're gonna take us into the new one?
Yeah, it's gonna be running a little bit over, I'm afraid, but, yeah.
We have 4 pitches or 5 pitches?
Let me just see here. Well, yeah, we have
Should
the
be- I think it's
4.
supposed to be 3 plus Jessica.
Yeah, 3 plus Jessica.
Yeah, so we'll be close.
Yeah.
And pitch again.
Pardon?
How much time? 7, 8 minutes?
Well, it's up to you, but officially a 15-minute slot including transition. So I usually recommend aim for about 5 minutes, and then you got ideally 7, 8 minutes to have Q&A.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll run through my slides faster.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be okay. Like, I think sometimes there's more questions, sometimes less. We try and encourage people to ask, and then also the networking session. Like, if we really run out of time, then we
Yeah, I've got a lot of slides, but I'll make flip through the fast.
okay. Yeah. Hi there.
Ali's here. I have presentation, so I have my slides to check with you.
Yeah, do you want to just put it on this computer?
Good.
I can help. I'm just gonna put one on as well. I'm just getting one here. So.
The one I can prepare or here, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Can check.
Jessica's gonna present for lunch or?
Pardon me?
Jessica is.
Yeah, I think she's okay with that. So we're gonna have 4 more.
Thank you so much.
No, it's great. I think it'll.
Not easy to change their orders sometimes.
Oh, no, we're flexible. We like to keep it,
Thank you so much.
no problem, no problem. Okay, let me just see. I get confused very easily. So this is,
Yeah.
is it,
Edmonton event. It's
actually, that's mine. And then this one.
And these 2 files. One of them is
Oh,
my
great.
presentation, another is the video.
Yeah.
You can open a file as Ali. I think I'm 11:45.
Yeah.
Presentation.
Okay, so that's good. I've got it on this one now.
Can you remove?
Yeah, let me just see if I can
Let's try first.
get it on there. Let me just get this other one on too, because
Yes.
That's good. Yeah, the video, sir. Is this your picture? Yeah. We're gonna just, yeah, I want to just make sure that works for you. Let me go through and just make sure you're not gonna.
Let's the video.
Embedded or?
What's that?
Is it embedded in the PowerPoint?
No, it's safe. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can do it very well. You have sound, I guess, but this is not gonna, you don't have, I don't think it's speakers on this. So it's just. It's sound. Speakers on this. I can't do it on the computer.
And on my computer here, let's see if I. Yeah, we have a video. I'm trying to get it out.
Chronic wounds, such as diabetic foot ulcers, pressure ulcers, and venous leg ulcers, affect millions of people worldwide.
I do have the sound here, so. Yeah, I can use mine to make my out.
If we try. Such a diabetic foot.
My first house. Yeah, something that you would just get you, put that here. Yes.
Yes, please.
If you get,
Make sure that how many people signing.
Well, it was about 15 minutes, so we're trying to aim around. If we go a little over, that's fine. It might start to get hungry, but Thank you. So here we have the on switch. And then on the screen. Label or supposed to. So thank you very much for joining in the networking session. Great to see so many interactions happening here. That is critical for this event. Share your details, and I'll also be sharing those emails so that you can continue your conversations after the pitches. And I'd like to invite, I don't know if you guys can hear me, I can hear myself, but maybe that's just my life. If you can hear me, maybe encourage your buddy to also sit down and relax, get a cup of coffee, glass of water. That way we can keep on schedule, which is great. We have lunch being served in about 1 hour. So just grab your seats, and we have 4 more pitches. Jennifer has kindly agreed to give a pitch as well. She's now arrived here and is going to give our last pitch, and we want to make sure everybody can hear her talk as well in about 45 minutes. I'm going to hand over to Kevin McNulty, who's been a great contributor to the ecosystem here, helping to advise a large number of companies across the ecosystem in Alberta. Kevin, thanks so much.
Thanks, Michael. So our first speaker for this session will be Amol Karnick. And Amol is the president and CEO of KA Imaging in Waterloo. They're developing X-ray imaging technologies and systems for medical, veterinary, and non-destructive testing markets.
Great, thank you. Thank you, appreciate it. I'm probably gonna use my hands. See if I can keep this here. Can you guys hear me well? Great. Well, thank you for the introductions again. My name is Amol Karnick. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of KA Imaging. What we've done is create the world's first spectral or color X-ray. And I'll go through why we've done this in a couple of slides. But I always like to highlight our vision. Our vision is to do innovative X-ray everywhere. And the reason we use these terms is X-ray really hasn't changed in 100 years. It was created 120 years ago by Röntgen, and the fundamentals of the imaging that you have today, when you go to the doctors, you go to the clinics, it's the same image that was essentially from 100 years ago. So what we've done is really change the fundamentals, increase the diagnostic quality, and give confidence to even the radiologists, intensivists, who are used to their imaging. So just KA was founded by myself and Kareem, a business partner who's a professor at the University of Waterloo. So we are an Ontario-based company, I think a little different than everybody else here. But we have started work here locally at Royal Alexandria as well. So we're doing some trials there in the emergency room. We have raised capital. We do have revenues of about $3 million to date. This year to date is about 1.5, give or take. We have about 50 people now in the company. A couple of our current investors include Foxconn. You may know them as one of the largest Apple manufacturers. We've also got some other Japanese companies and Tim Draper, for those who may know from the Valley. We do have a lot of early engagements, like I said, Royal Alexandria locally, University Health Network in Toronto, also UCSD, University of Chicago, down in the US as well. So we do have our global, we've got about 9 jurisdictions approved. We've got Health Canada, US, Europe as well approved, plus other jurisdictions. I'm not going to go through the details of who we are, but built up a strong team to allow us to really focus on commercialization. So I've hired, probably got over 100 and something years of commercial experience here. Myself with Kareem, he's also done his MBA, focused on developing products, bringing products to market. I've got a deep background from GE and multiple other medical device startups and brought products to market as well. So creating a strong team to allow us to succeed and allow us to continue pushing forwards on sales. Now, I always like to keep it ultra basic. You know, what's an X-ray system? For those who are maybe not familiar, you probably all had one, but essentially what you have here is an X-ray source that creates the radiation. And in the old days, it used to be film, and it's gone now digital. The digital film, like the camera went film to digital, the same thing happens for X-ray. So the receiver is what creates the image, and it's what you normally see. And you do have different types of systems in the hospital. You've got a fixed room that, you know, if you're healthy-ish and you can walk and go to the room. Otherwise, you have mobile systems that allow you to take to the bedside, consider the ICU, the emergency room, waiting just a general ward. So why are we doing this? Like I said, X-ray's been around about 120 years, but the fundamentals really never change. You can't actually understand what you're seeing in some of these images. You can have things that are missed. We've seen in our own trials, cancer is missed, pneumonia is missed. Very hard to pick up pneumothorax or even lines and tubes. These are fundamentally some very basic things X-ray should be supposed to do, but it can miss things. Here's an example of an image that every radiologist or someone who's shown has said this is normal. And so when we apply what we do, we've actually suppressed the bones because we can identify and separate materials. Now, by suppressing the bones here, there is a lesion at the top. Okay. Oh, that's right. You didn't really look right up here. So there's a little lesion up there. So how can we do this? And why can we do this? So we've created a multi-layer X-ray detector. In a way, like your eye can see 3 colors in this amazing color world, we've created an X-ray detector that separates the incoming X-ray spectrum into 3 different energy bands. So you can see these 3 different layers that we have on the detector. These 3 energies allow us to now identify and separate materials. So we can highlight just the soft tissue, or we can highlight the bone. In the soft tissue, we are seeing pneumonias, pneumothoraxes, cancers better. In the bone image, we're seeing lines of tubes to determine if nodules are calcified. But we can also see cardiac disease. So we're seeing calcification in the coronary arteries, something no other X-ray can see. As I mentioned, we are approved for sale in 9 jurisdictions, significantly lower radiation than a CT. We use the same actually radiation as your current X-ray, so we don't change the dose or increase X-ray radiation. We do have 80 global patents, so we've continued to continuously build a patent wall around what we've been building. And we can actually upgrade any system in the world with one of our systems. And in terms of positioning, we like to say we replace CT. We actually have data from an ICU trial where we had 100 patients, and in those 100 patients, we avoided 10 CTs. So the patient did not have to be moved from the ICU to the CT. The hospital, it was a local Ontario hospital, estimated about $1,000 per patient was saved. So that was significant cost savings for the hospital, but it also gave it confidence, increase the diagnostics to the intensivist and the radiologist. And so we like to say we're a bridge to CT. X-ray is available everywhere. It's used everywhere, but it's also lower on the diagnostic capabilities. CT is highly diagnostic, but it has challenges in terms of accessibility and costs and radiation dose. We're that bridge. We create a fantastic bridge to allow you to save CTs, to improve diagnostics at the point of care. So in terms of use, and maybe one of the reasons we're here as well, continue to look for clinical partners. We are working with Royal Alexander, here as well. But we're also looking at cardiac disease, lung cancer, more pneumonias, pneumothoraxes. The work here is in the emergency department. Perfect, thank you. And we've also, though, done some work to show that we can increase or cost save about $3.5 million in the first 5 years for a hospital. But in terms of research partners, all these areas like cardiac disease, lung cancer, pneumonias, lines of tubes, but even C-spine, foreign objects, so things that are left behind, are important for us to partner with to continue moving forward. The market's large. I probably won't go into the details here. It's a $50 billion market opportunity here. In terms of regulatory approvals, we have about 60% of the market covered already. So we can go to market in a large part of the world already. Our business model is pretty typical. We're capital purchase, but as I'm sure you've heard a lot of people talk about, subscription model as well. So we're actually creating a new subscription-based model as well. So we have heard from a lot of hospitals these days that capital budget after COVID has been constrained. So we're trying to look more at the operating budgets to allow us to get into the subscription base only as well. But that also gives us the capability of risk sharing to show that. Right? Okay, perfect. Actually, that was good. So we are looking to raise our next round, And, you know, we already have about $9 million invested already come in through for this round as well. Any questions?
Just wondering if the radiology interpretation for such training or microchip required.
No, so, well, we're based on a technique called dual energy X-ray that they've already been trained on. So seeing these separated images is actually normal. I didn't get on the competitive slide there, there's a technique called dual energy X-ray. The way it works, it takes 2 radiation exposures, separating time by about half second. So it creates a motion artifact, but it also doubles the radiation. So they've seen these types of images, it's not maybe as well versed in. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's one of the slides. Because the dual energy has a challenge also, it's only fixed room, as I showed you, it's mobile and fixed. It only goes in the fixed room, double radiation, it can't do all the views they typically want to see as well for chest X-ray.
Can you go to slide 10, please?
10.
So I see on the left-hand side there, CT scanner has higher accuracy, your reveal 35C is a bit lower in accuracy.
Right.
The question is, what clinical information are you losing or you missing by the training?
So X-ray is still a 2D modality, it's a 2D image, and CT is a 3D modality. So there is definitely techniques that we'll miss. We won't see everything that a CT can see because you're just, X-ray is considered a shadow at times compared to CT, where it's a full 3D model. You can see the full body. You can do a lot more with that as well. So, but we can identify anomalies that will maybe want you to go into CT or eliminate that CT. So as I said, we have this ICU data where they're potentially looking for pneumonias and pneumothoraxes, and they could see it in our technique just as well. They were seeing CT and they didn't need that CT. Thank you. Yes.
So, to extend this question, can you combine CT with X-ray?
Can we come like a fusion imaging?
Yeah.
So can we combine some? Yeah. We could, but I don't know the diagnostic value of combining the two.
Well, that's how it is. Lots of PET CT is done.
PET CT is different. That's giving functional imaging versus CT, which is a fixed modality.
Sure.
So, interesting question, but I'm not sure the diagnostic value.
Can this technology be adapted to current X-ray?
Yes, absolutely. So we're fully compliant. There's an ISO or international standard called ISO consent size. And so we built this X-ray detector that's ISO compatible. So we can upgrade any X-ray system in the world to use our. That was actually one of the engineering challenges, actually fit all that hardware into what typically was only 15 millimeters. Just so you know that this detector up there is only 15 millimeters, 1.5 centimeters.
You said you're covering 60% of the addressable market. Do you see that market changing? Where is the 40% well?
So we've, as I mentioned before, we've got our US, Canada, European feedback. So we have some of the big markets we haven't addressed yet is Brazil, Japan, China. So there's where we see some. India's also in process right now as well. So and Pakistan, we already have it, Malaysia, Indonesia. So some of these other big, large markets we already have approvals for. And we're now working on these other ones that we don't.
What's the Alberta experience like?
Oh, it's been great. We've been working with the teams here locally. We're working with the emergency room. So we want to continue developing that relationship and continuing to have the capabilities of being a Canadian innovation continuously and delivering more value to Canadians.
I'm just wondering if you got any feedback, pushback from the OEM manufacturers about implementing your device or integrating it into their system?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have had feedback for sure. Actually, one of the major OEMs is actually working with us closely right now. They've actually bought one of our detectors for integration into their systems as well. So So we're happy to sell, systems to the world, but also happy to sell it through OEM partners who can do higher volume faster for us.
How bulletproof is are your 80 patents?
Well, it's a good question. We did do a freedom to operate on some of the fundamental basics ones when they came back clean. So is any patent bulletproof? Probably not, but we've done some basic homework to make sure that we are pretty rock solid. Great. Thank you very much. Great.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me all right?
So,
Yeah.
oh, there we go. Mirna Damergi is product manager of Rapid Infection Diagnostics. She's also YYC Data Convention. She's also co-director of YYC Data Convention and a U Calgary grad. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mirna Damergi, and I'm excited to talk to you about our company, Rapid Infection Diagnostics. Half of the people with life-threatening infections are prescribed the wrong treatment, and this directly contributes to 90,000 deaths per year in North America alone. In this presentation, I'm going to introduce a solution to this problem. As our name suggests, Rapid Infection Diagnostics' mission is to dramatically cut diagnostics, wait times for microbial diagnostics, with the ultimate goal of saving lives. We are a team of 9 people based in Calgary that grew from over $17 million investment, and we hold 3 patents in 5 countries, with 1 issued here in Canada. Our technology identifies microbial pathogens and does antibiotic specific testing for bloodstream infections and urinary tract infection, which are the most common infections today. This work was made possible thanks to our partnerships with Thermo Fisher, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Alberta Precision Labs, and Dynalyve Medical Labs. We are a team of 9 people with our core research team on the right, and our executive leadership is composed with Dr. Ian Lewis, CEO and founder of RIT, and who was originally recruited to UCalgary from Princeton as a translational research chair for Alberta Innovates. He is also the director of the newly launched Alberta Center for Advanced Diagnostics. We also have our executive chairman, Oren Uduroglu, who brings over 20 years of commercialization strategy with companies acquired by Siemens, Philips, and Alphabet. Last but not least, we have Dr. Dan Gregson, which is a world-recognized infectious disease physician, and also the past president of the Association for Medical Microbiology and Infectious Disease Canada. Now let's talk about the problem. You have a bacterial infection and it resolves fast, since it could evolve into a serious life. Oh, sorry. Since it could evolve into a life-threatening into a serious life-threatening condition. Oh. Is that better? Yeah, I think that's better. Life-threatening conditions such as sepsis. In current technology,
But current technology is slow. It takes 2 to 4 days for microbiology to send you your result for ID and AST. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay, so but current technology is slow. It takes 2 to 4 days for to identify the microbe and know which antibiotics they are sensitive to. The rate limiting step for current approaches are the fact that we wait for microbes to grow, and that cannot be accelerated. For BSI in particular, doctors must simply guess at the correct antibiotic microbial to use, and for every hour that elapses with the wrong antibiotic, where the patient does not get the correct treatment, the probability of dying increases of 7%. This slow diagnostic timeliness contributes to over 90,000 deaths, or 18% of all BSI cases in North America per year alone. Not only is microbial testing slow, but it is also a major burden for clinical labs, with the numbers of tests performed by labs increasing. At present, we have 500,000 BSI tests in North America, and 21.2 million UTI tests of urinary tract infection tests. To meet that demand, infrastructures are big, labor is intensive, and that's why we have a solution to a rapid ID AST built for large lab that address these twofold problems, with technology slow that contributes to death, and infrastructures being big and labor intensive. We combine a proprietary microbial growth medium with a consumable plastic sampling device and a high sensitivity, high specificity LCMS platform that does ID and AST at a fraction of this time. We have 2 tests developed at the moment, one for bloodstream infection and one for urinary tract infection. The core concept behind the Hopper platform is based on the metabolic activity of microbes to identify and assess their antibiotic susceptibility. What we call the metabolic preference assay, developed by our CSO, is basically looking at what the bacteria eats and poops, and then and also additionally by observing their activity in presence of antibiotics, we can assess if they're still alive, that things do not eat. And it is fast. In head-to-head trials with current technology, our BSIDX and UTIDX were 40 and 30 hours faster than the gold standard technology, and has a potential to save up to 50,000 lives per year. Since time is up, I'm going to say that we compared to current technology, but although the ID AST landscape is growing, there's no product like our Hopper that can do ID and AST for large labs at a fraction of the time and the cost and the footprint. Also, we have a first market mover advantage with as Hopper was built for large labs, and most newly companies that are interested in that space are innovating for smaller labs. The basic of the roadmap is going to be like a pre-revenue and pre-FDA. We need $5 million to get the BSIDX through the FDA approval. We have pre-submitted the pre-sub for the 510K FDA application, and we are meeting with them mid-October. We are also on track for the revenue generation models through laboratory developed tests, where we have a unit operational in Dynalife APL in Edmonton. We will generate revenue through consumables and hardware sale plus service maintenance. These $5 million will cover the FDA clinical studies for 510K approval, regulatory and professional costs, as well as the operating costs. It will also support our early revenue stream through LDT adoption. We do believe this opportunity has significant potential, as Biomedical just acquired last year specific diagnostics for over $400 million that does only rapid AST.
So that's, I'm just gonna leave that here and then answer it as a question comes into. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time and attention, and I'll take your questions.
Mirna, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I told the mic.
Yeah, I've got your microphone now. Great presentation. I was just wondering, I'm not sure if this was on your last slide, but do you have a trajectory for the rate of occurrence of UTIs and bloodstream infections over, say, the next 5 to 10 or 15 years?
I don't have the slide, but for the rate of occurrence, it's gonna keep increasing with AMR increasing. So the more, and that's a major burden nowadays in healthcare.
Thanks.
Yeah, we have a question here.
You mentioned your regulatory pathway, that's fairly clear. What about your reimbursement pathway? Are you using existing Medicare, Medicaid codes and is that work within your business model?
Yes, totally. That's a great question. Thanks for pointing it out. Yes, we are. The technology that we develop is on par with what's already available. So we will not need to create new reimbursement code or apply for them. So it's the current ones are applicable to our technology. There's a question too, like tables by
We're just wondering about subtype identification, microbes. What is the progress on that?
Good question. So we are identifying by genera, and then we also have species. So depending on the patterns of the biomarkers that we can do identification, and depending on the different genera, then we have specificity depending on them.
All right, well, thanks, Mirna. That was excellent, very informative.
Is Ali here? MHCombiotic. Ali was just here. If not, we'll go on to hear from Jessica. Is Jessica, are you ready to go? Okay, let's go with Jessica. So it's great to have you here, Jessica. Thanks for flying in today and giving us talk about what's happening at Gene Bio Medical. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mike, to invite me here. And everyone, I'm the CEO of Gene Biomedical, my company from Vancouver, BC. We're one of the biggest life science companies in BC this year. So very happy that to see a lot of great idea innovation companies in our podcast. We're very honored to be one of the ecosystem to help everybody else. During the pandemic, Gene Biomedical is one of the domestic manufacturers in BC. So we are the manufacturer of diagnostic test tubes. Our technology is metal flow array, ELISA, and then the microfluidics biochips. So today I want to discuss with you about the manufacturer services that our companies can provide and also can leverage the innovations in our products. So the companies that we offer, we can help the innovation of the early stage marketing analyze before you start research, that we give you the direction of what is the marketing demand. And then we offer the special training to tell you the what is the commercialization and what is the marketing expectations of the cost. So as you know, the diagnostic tester tools, we can do the point of care or lab of use. So our facility is a GMPs, also ISO 13485 certificate. Usually we'll take like a more scale up companies to have a large capacities of the diagnostic tools. We do modeling, design, and analyze for the innovation companies. This is our newer technology of the cutting edge of photonics technology. So it's a wearable, digitables, readables, also have a higher sensitivities compared with PCRs. And then so the use can be used at hospitals, home cares, or point of care or level of use. So this is the process of how to development of the diagnostic tools. I didn't prepare too much today. But our companies, we're willing to help those other companies to do the newer innovations in diagnostic and medical device. So this is the technology and then the equipment that we're using in the new technology for point of care. And then thank you so much for inviting me today. And I'm happy to connect with everyone. Thank you for the short intro. Yeah.
Is there any questions for Jessica just before we move on? I'm gonna put you on the spot, Jessica.
Won't leave the stage yet, Jessica. That's it. I'll just yell though. Near everyone hear me? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Jessica. I see you. I appreciate you on a wide variety of platforms. Can you comment, please, on what's the highest demand clinical platform that you use? What clinical indication or clinical application?
So our company served during the pandemic of the metal flow array. As you know, during the pandemic, we shortage of the medical supply chain issues. So there's no supplies overseas. So we have to make in domestics. So we see we want to solve the problem of the cost. So lower cost, a high accuracy is also the most important problem that we want to solve right now.
Quick follow-up. Wrap my question out there. I was looking for a clinical application. Not so much the problem with the cost. It's more what is the clinical application is your highest demand?
The clinical trial.
What disease? What disease?
Oh, the diseases. So the diseases is because we provide it's called a background platform support. We help in the manufacturer, so we provide manufacturer services. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions while Ali comes to give the last slide? Thank you for your patience. Lunch will be ready in a moment. So Ali is giving the next talk. He's from Calgary, and he's starting up a new company. He's got a video as well, so hang on for the show. And
It's not new, it's 2 years.
it's 2 years. It's been 2 years since you began. Oh, very good. So, and
Just
thank
kidding, 2 is new.
2 years is kind of new, but thanks to all the speakers for great talks and all the chairs and the sponsors also for the support for lunch. Hope you enjoy it, and keep chatting and helping to find ways to support each other and our entrepreneurs. Thank you, Ali.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hope you have fun so far. I know you are in the rush to start fun. So imagine how many accidents, how many surgeries, and how many wounds are happening across the globe. In MHCombiotic, we discover novel antimicrobials to control wound infection, and not only that, it accelerates wound recovery. Let's see what's our technology.
Ulcers, pressure ulcers, and venous leg ulcers affect millions of people worldwide and can cause significant pain, discomfort, and even disability. One of the main reasons for the failure to heal is the presence of biofilm, which is a complex matrix of bacteria and other microorganisms that attach to the wound bed and can cause infection. The development of antimicrobial products that can effectively target biofilm is crucial for improving outcomes for patients with chronic wounds. However, biofilms prevent the penetration of the treatment and cause delays in the wound healing process. MHCombiotic is addressing this problem by collaborating with renowned scientists and a private pharma lab. Our innovative technology aims to tackle biofilm and promote faster wound healing. Irrigation antimicrobial spray contains patented active ingredients that effectively break down and remove biofilm, eliminate bacteria, and clear debris and dead tissues from the wound site. An antimicrobial solution targets wound infections in the site. We have screened over 13,000 populations against 12 laboratory strains and 36 clinical wound isolated bacteria and fungi to develop the optimal solution for we apply our patented combatic wound hydrogel. This hydrogel not only provides a protective covering for the wound, but also controls infection, maintains optimal moisture levels, and stimulates the wound recovery process with its active ingredients. The technology is protected by US and international patents. We conducted rigorous safety and efficacy tests according to ISO and FDA guidelines to ensure the safety of it. Kinds of wounds, especially chronic and non-human wounds. With the combatic antimicrobial wound kit, you can trust that you are receiving the finest solution to accelerate the healing of your wounds. Chronic wounds cause you pain, infection, and stress in your life.
All right. Our technology is not only antimicrobial, it has antibiotic property. Resistance is chances significantly low, which nowadays AMR is a significant problem. It has antioxidant property, which helps faster recovery of the wound. And it has wide variety of application. I will talk about that. It's not only controls single infection, it has mixed infection, which 20 to 40% of the wound infection are mixed infection, which available product doesn't eradicate mixed infection. And the cost wise, it's significantly cost benefit compared with other products. We validate our technology in prestigious journals, all advantages that I mentioned. And another important advantage is application. We are targeting all four stages of the wound. Most of the available products are targeting first and second stage. However, last stages are significantly important because the infection test is significantly higher. So these are actual clinical samples from Piyush Hospital. Green shows it works effectively. On the right side, you can see silver-based product. We compare our products with silver-based. Right now, they are using at the hospitals. And as you see in the middle column, our product shows 100% efficacy against clinical isolates. And bacteria is really growing on the silver-based products now. Nowadays, bacteria are resistant. In our team, I'm as a CEO, I'm veterinarian, I have master's PhD and postdoc in medical microbiology. We got so many awards and funding for this project. I was honored as 2021 Excellent Award, Innovative Postdoc, 2022 Excellent Postdoc, and I was recently honored as Top 40 Most Influenced Under 40. And we have Professor Kumar working over 25 years on AMR. In our advisory team, we have scientific and development advisor. We have scientific advisor from Pfizer BioNTech. And for IP, we are working with BLG. And for regulatory and clinical trials, we are working with Impact, Innovate Calculating. Kerz is here from Impact. Thank you so much for your help. Our partner, pharma partner, they came very early stage in this technology, and they are helping on the business side, investment and regulation. We have a strong IP protection. We have 4 US patents, and one of our patents are PCT International, shows novelty of our technology across the globe. So we started this technology from 2020 as my postdoc project. We develop, validate, we publish scientific journals. Last year, this time, we submit our US patent. From last year to December, our prototypes are ready and we are running stability, safety test based on the FDA guideline. We raised $500,000 non-diluted. So far, we applied over 1 million non-diluted again grants. And we are hoping to go in the market in max 1 year. And in that stage, we are ready for seed fund. Thank you so much.
Any questions, please?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm just wondering if you've looked into like post-operative, like a prophylactic approach that it could be used for all wounds, like even surgical wounds, or is it only for the presence of infection?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we look for different stage of the wounds. Actually, it was an animal stage, and we are hoping to get all safety tests to start clinical trials. And we are trying to have multi-center clinical trials and trying different types of wounds, surgical wounds, burn wound, on the other hand, diabetic ulcer wound.
And have you looked at the formation of scar tissue, like if there's any impact on the cosmetic?
Yeah, actually, those are just one aspect of our application. Combiotic has different application in medical field, has a medical device coating on antimicrobial and stents, high-touch surfaces, and full and daily animal infection control. And one of the aspects, I don't have a slide, one of our prototypes in anti-acne, and we had some promising data as an anti-acne and reducing scar, and because it has anti-inflammation, antioxidant properties, we are very promising. We have some promising data on that side.
Just further on that point, I'm just wondering, it's a plant-based material, I guess, in part, and can you embed any, you mentioned more about that and whether or not there's a possibility for growth promotion and possible indications for burn victims or skin blistering diseases to help with the healing process again.
I don't know by chance talk about the technology. On one side we have metal-based, and on the other side we have plant-based. In the metal side we have metal ions, metal nanoparticles, and metal atoms. On the other hand, we have plant-based, high pure natural metabolites. What we are doing combination strategies, synergies method. We screen over 18,000 different synergies formulation to make sure increase antimicrobial properties of the combination and decrease significantly toxicity to the host. Not only toxicity, some of our plant-based component has antioxidant properties. So on that side, we are getting some advantage on MHCombiotic. So that's the reason we have different IPs for protection, both sides, and haloid side and plant-based. At the end, we have combination formulation.
Another kind of difficult question, but we love our universities, but who owns the IP, the university or the company?
So that's another long story. I start under my tax. So when you're under my tax, industrial partner gets the IP. It's on IP owner. After finishing the project, I said, this is the project. I had job opportunity as a assistant professor in McKinney University. You want me to go and be professor or work on this project? They transferred all IP to the company, exchange 7% of my company. So right now I have all IPs. And university doesn't have anything, unfortunately. But because university in a way probably helped me a lot, I'm hoping to get UC funding as exchange, give some feedback to the university.
Well, I'm sure the University of Calgary is very proud of your story. It's a great story, and they probably want a percentage, right? They want 7%.
So far they helped me a lot, and they know what's going on because I was not trying to trick them. It happens, like my tax as the owner, but in the future, hopefully, we're gonna get some percent of the company.
Well, it's a tricky balance. Sounds like you've done a great job with that. Thank you all for your patience and lunch. I think